The main rainbow friends are exactly what you would expect. Brightly colored creatures that all get along as pals. Sure, there may have been a few incidents here and there where they may have fought, but even the closest of brothers do that occasionally. For the most part, blue, orange, green, and purple have been best buds since they were transformed from humans. But what if I told you there was one rainbow friend in particular that they always hated? Someone that was never loved or invited to their various parties. I know what you're thinking. It's probably Red, right? While it's true Red is hated by the rainbow friends now, he had plenty of opportunities to be accepted by the group. It's his own fault he chose to destroy and deceive at every possible turn. And even now, if he was to ask for forgiveness, they would probably forgive all the bad things he's done. No, this is the story of a rainbow friend no one knows or cares about. The rejected rainbow friend, Gray. To fully understand his sad tale, we must go back to where it all began, back before he was the hideous ant-like monster he is today. Gary Grayson seemed like a very normal child growing up. He was polite to his parents and got good grades in school. He was very healthy for his age and loved to spend time outdoors. On top of that, he always had a fascination with animals. But unlike the other kids, who enjoyed learning about all sorts of large zoo creatures or ancient dinosaurs, Gary was only interested in one very specific region of the animal kingdom: bugs. His obsession started off small, with a simple butterfly fluttering through the air. But quickly he wanted to learn about every insectoid he could. Bees, centipedes, ladybugs. If it buzzed in the air or crawled on the ground, Gary had to know more about it. He would spend multiple hours a day after school looking for new specimens to study. When he found something, he'd collect them in jars, like a prized trophy. Proud of his discoveries, he would try to show off to the other children. They did not share Gary's enthusiasm for bugs, however. In fact, they all found them yucky and unpleasant to look at. Some of the meaner boys would take his bugs and squash them under their feet. They'd call him names like Gross Gary or Bug Boy and would shove him to the ground.
If you like insects so much, you should just stay down in the dirt with them. Yeah, they're your only real friends, Bug Boy.
In a strange way, however, without their bullying, he may not have discovered his most favorite insect of all, the mighty ant. They were everything Gary wished he was, both super strong for their size and constantly surrounded by friends and family. You see, while Gary's social life wasn't particularly good, his home life was actually worse. His parents fought all the time, screaming and yelling at each other at the top of their lungs.
You can't keep supporting Gary's weird obsession with bugs. It's creepy and weird, and all the kids hate him for it. I mean, he's a freak. We should take him to the Rainbow Friends play place like a normal boy.
He's not interested in that stuff, and I don't want our son to be friends with bullies anyways. If learning about insects makes him happy, we should let him.
Eventually, the two had to split up. The mom and dad just couldn't agree on anything, and he had to move out. And since his dad was in the army, he was gone for long periods of time. With his father out of the picture, Gary was forced to give up his bug collection. It was all he really ever cared about. Gary wasn't even allowed to talk about bugs. If he did, his mom would make him do all sorts of difficult chores.
If you want to talk about ants so much, then you must not mind working as hard as an ant.
Gary was miserable. But whenever his dad was back in Bloxburg, Gary got to stay at his house. Gary would look forward to it for months.
Remember, absolutely no mention of insects of any kind. You hear me?
No bug talk. Got it.
Luckily for Gary, his dad didn't care about what Mom thought. He just wanted to make his boy happy.
I got this for you, buddy. You can open it, but we gotta keep it here at my place. It'll be our little secret.
It was the best present Gary could have asked for, his very own ant farm. Every time he was able to visit his dad, he would examine it for hours. Unfortunately, Gary was only able to visit his dad when he wasn't off fighting in the war. At one time, he never returned. He was the only one that was ever truly nice to Gary, the only person supportive that didn't make him feel like a loser. To make matters even worse, it meant that his mom was finally able to find the ant farm, and she was furious.
I can't believe you, Gary! All these years, you've been lying to me? When will you get over this stupid bug stuff and just grow up? It's time to teach you a lesson once and for all.
The mom took the ant farm outside and smashed it to smithereens. She poured gas on the rubble and lit it on fire. It broke Gary. He felt like he had no real family left. He was now all alone in this world. Eventually, though, the years passed, and he was finally old enough to move out. He decided, against the wishes of his mother, to pursue his passion of entomology. His good grades helped him get into one of the most prestigious colleges in all of Roblox. It was everything he could have ever dreamed of. There were bug species neatly organized all over the room, surrounded by magnifying glasses, microscopes, and other testing equipment. Gary could spend all day and night studying. Even better, he was finally around other people that shared his same love of insects. His first human friends. And that's all he needed to be happy for the first time in a long time. Sure, he didn't have much to his name, just a small dorm room and a new ant farm, just like the one his dad got him all those years ago, but that's all he wanted. Unfortunately, going to a fancy college was far from cheap, and Gary didn't have a job. He never really got much experience in high school, so he was desperate for anything that had decent pay. That's when he saw it, an ad for a job at the Rainbow Friends Play Place. Gary remembered his mother talking all about it as a kid. Surely it'd be a good spot to make some cash. So he called the number.
Hello? Is this the Rainbow Friends Play Place?
Why, yes. Yes, it is. Are you inquiring about the position that just became available?
Yeah. But the ad doesn't say what I'd be doing or how much I'd be making, and...
Well, why don't you give us a visit, and I'll go over all the details.
Suddenly, the line went dead, and Gary hung up. He was nervous. He leaned over to his ant farm and picked up some of his friends.
Alright, guys. Wish me luck. I feel like I'm going to need it.
I'm sure you can imagine what happens next. Gary drove to the play place and found the place looking trashed and abandoned. He knew it seemed risky to enter, but he was just so desperate for money. He couldn't let his dream die, so he went inside. He walked through the various halls, searching for Red's office, or anyone really.
Hello? Is anyone there?
When suddenly, down the hallway, a light from one of the labs turns on. Gary cautiously stepped inside to find a strange contraption whirring to life.
What is this place?
Why, it's your new home.
Huh?
But what neither Red or Gary realized was that one of Gary's ants was still on him.
What? No. What have you become? Some kind of bug? No child would want to come pay money to see a disgusting creature like you. Get out of my sight.
Gray wanted to run away, to return to his studies, but he knew that Red was right. If no one liked him when he was younger, they certainly weren't going to accept him now. His only hope to fit in was with the other Rainbow Friends, blue, orange, green, and purple, but even they were disgusted by him. They laughed at his lack of colors, at his insect-like appearance. They called him names and wouldn't even invite him to their parties.
Sorry, pal, but Gray isn't a part of any rainbow I'm aware of. Get lost, you bug-eyed freak! Crawl back to whatever hole in the ground you came from. Yeah!
And so he did. Maybe one day the others will accept Gray for who he is. They'll see that they've now become the bullies that used to pick on all of them. But until then, Gray will hide away in his tiny bunker, hidden away from everyone else as the rejected Rainbow Friend.